Hey guys, how's it going? I'm in my darkroom and I'm getting set up to make a Ferroblend print. It's a new printing process that was introduced by a fellow over at Photrio. His name is Raghu. So if you go to Photrio, you can find a thread on the Ferroblend process. It's quite good. There's a few of us that have been contributing to the thread. So if you're interested in it and you'd like to get some more information, check it out. I'll try to remember to stick a link to the actual thread. But in the meantime, I'm going to go through the whole process step by step with you so that you can get a better idea of how it works. The Ferroblend is basically a cyanotype. Although the formula has been slightly modified. Just like the cyanotype, it has two parts, part A and part B. And part A has the ferric ammonium citrate, but there's also the addition of ammonium chloride. So I started with 60 mils of distilled water and I mix in 25 grams of ferric ammonium citrate and then another 25 grams of ammonium chloride. And then I top this up to 100 mils. And for part B, it's 60 mils of distilled water and I mix in 20 grams of potassium ferricyanide and I top it up to 100 mils. And those two, A and B, just like the cyanotype, are mixed together equal parts. Now, with the cyanotype, you develop it in water. With the Ferroblend, you don't. You mix up a developer, which contains a little bit of copper sulfate. You can make a large quantity of that, but I found that I prefer just to mix up a small amount, and I'll get to that when I'm actually going to develop. Now, one thing that I did learn about Ferroblend is it won't work with same type of negative density range that we use for cyanotype. You need a much longer density range with a much higher Dmax. It took me a while to figure that one out, and I should have paid closer attention. I should have known better. I'm going to be working with a digitized negative. This original here, shot on with X-ray film, but the density range was too short and Dmax was quite low. So I had to make a lot of modifications. Now if I can show you an actual cyanotype negative, you can see it's very different, very thin. This negative makes a very nice traditional cyanotype, but it will not work for Ferroblend printing. So I had to make a new profile. Now, just out of curiosity, I want to see what the density range is. 2.05, and this thinner area, 0.32. So if my math is correct, that's a density range of about 1.73. That's pretty long compared to traditional cyanotype. As far as exposure goes, it's a lot longer. It's 9 minutes as opposed to 5 minutes for traditional cyanotype. Now the other variable is paper. I've been doing all my initial testing was done on Revere Platinum. Now the nice thing about Revere Platinum, it's quite heavy paper and there's no alkaline-based internal sizing, so it didn't require any acidic pre-bath to get rid of that sizing. I've also tried some Rising Stonehenge and it worked well, but I had to give this a bath in sulfamic acid to get rid of that internal sizing. You can see the results are very similar. Nice thing about the Stonehenge, it's a lot cheaper than the Revere Platinum. And then I even tried this Canson watercolor paper. It's off of this pad, Canson XL watercolor, and it worked really well too. It's quite lovely, but I had to again bathe it in some sulfamic acid, and I'll actually take you guys through that process. And then I remembered I had some really cheap, sorry, I dog-eared the corner accidentally. It's a scrap print, so it's not a big deal. Well, it's paper that I bought at a Japanese dollar store in Vancouver. So it's Daiso, from Daiso. And it's really, really cheap drawing paper. I really like this. It's very cheap. Maybe it was a couple bucks for 15 sheets, and it worked beautifully. It's a lot thinner, so I have to be super careful because it does tear when it gets wet. So I'll be making a Ferroblend print on this paper. So before I get started, I will need to acidify this paper. We'll be giving it a bath in a 5% sulfamic acid bath for 5 minutes, just to knock out that alkaline internal sizing. Okay, this is my sulfamic acid. It's a 5% solution. Just gonna fit in this tray. Alright, that's 5 minutes. It should be enough. You have to be really careful with this. Don't tear it. It's so easy to tear. Okay, now I'll just leave them to dry and come back and I'll show you the next step, which will be sensitizing paper. Okay, paper is dry. Now I will need to mark paper. Now I don't need to use such a big piece, so I can probably trim it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark the corners of the negative so I'll know where to apply the sensitizer. Now I'll mix up the sensitizer and coat the paper. Right here are the two parts for the Ferroblend. Ferroblend A, Ferroblend B. Okay, we are ready. I just have a light fan blowing on it. Speed up the drying process. Fish dry. Now it's time to make the exposure. Alright, while that's exposing, I will get the developer ready and a weigh scale because I'm going to be measuring out the copper sulfate and the sodium citrate. Now, you can make up a large quantity of the developer, but I like to do it per print. Don't ask me why, I don't know. I just prefer it. So in the 20 mils, I put in 0.4 grams of copper sulfate. Mix that all around. It dissolves pretty quick. Okay, that's mixed. Now I will put in some sodium citrate. That will be 1.4 grams. It's a darker blue. It's a beautiful blue, actually. Now, tropical blue. And this will be my developer. It's only a tiny bit, and you're wondering why, how such a tiny bit of developer? Well, this is brushed onto the exposed print. And I will put in a couple of drops Ferroblend. And I'll use this foam brush. And now, while we're waiting, I am going to make a citric acid rinse. I like to keep it at 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, this is what it looks like after it's been exposed. Expose it just so that the shadow, the darkest areas, are slightly solarized, which they are here. Now I'll develop it. And I just brush this on. And you have to work really quickly. Here we go. Rinse. Before I wash it, I'm just going to take a quick look at it. Okay, now I will wash it. Then we'll come back and take a look at it after it has dried. Let's try. What do you think?